Okay. Assalamu alaikum. Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back, student. This is yet another lesson, that is History and Government Form 1. And this is lesson 3. And our topic today is agriculture. And the subtopic, we are going to talk about the domestication of what? Plants and animals. I am Mr. Mboya as usual. What you're going to learn here is very, very simple. And that's why I want us to go through the lesson what? Objectives. What are we going to learn out of this lesson? And please be very attentive. So these are the lesson objectives. At the end of the lesson, the learner should be able, learner who is you, should be able to what? To define the term agriculture. Then after that, you are supposed to give the what? The theory that explains the origin of what? Agriculture. So that is just one lesson objective that we're going to come up with after that. Then the next, the learner should be able also to give the reason why man started agriculture. And that one is all about domestication. Why man started domesticating plants and all and animals. Then after that, identify some crops. The learner should be able to identify some crops and animals domesticated by man. Basically, man here we're talking about during the Neolithic what? Period. Then the last part or the last area we're going to look at in this lesson is the importance of domestication of animals by man. How did domestication of animals benefited man? Very simple, and please feel welcome. So straight away let's define what agriculture is. Basically, agriculture means it is a process of cultivation of crops and rearing of animals. That is what agriculture is. So if you talk about animals, you talk about crops together, domesticated, that is animal. Or somebody can say that is the domestication of animals and plants. That is still the definition of agriculture as far as history is concerned. And in this lesson we are going to talk about the previous, or we are going to talk about the ancient practice of agriculture. So the modern definition of agriculture may be very different in a form that it includes what? Animal husbandry, fish farming, which is aquaculture, then beekeeping. So when we talk about this beekeeping, we talk about this one is modern definition of agriculture. So that is just it. Let's look at the beginning of agriculture. How did it start? So when we talk about the beginning of agriculture, the domestication of plants and animals began over 10,000 years ago. And that was during what? Neolithic period, which is the last period of the Stone Age. And the other name is known as what? The New Stone Age period. So that is the era when agriculture or the domestication of plants and animals started. So let's look at why man started domesticating animals and plants. Let's look at the reasons. You can be asked as a student, give 6 reasons why man started domestication of animals and plants, or why man started agriculture. Please, these are the reasons. Let's look at them. 1, the increase in human population. We talk about the increase in human population, borrowing the idea from the previous lesson. We say that these people were living in the savanna grassland. And therefore, they depended on what? The natural food that they could obtain through hunting and gathering. And therefore, since that these people were increasing in number, the population was rising. Therefore, the natural environment could not provide enough supply of food to them. And therefore, they had to look for a way that they can feed themselves and they can get themselves satisfied. That's why they came up with a creativity. Remember, they had already developed the tools, and we talked about the tools that were invented by man. And therefore, they had a go-ahead whereby they can use those tools to dig land. They had a go-ahead that they can use those tools even to what? Yes, to dig land, and also some of the indigenous animals, they could have them, or they could rear them to keep them maybe for food in future, maybe milk in future, and etc. So this is one of the reasons why man started domestication of plants, due to increasing population. Thereby needing what? They needed regular food supply, which natural environment could not provide to them. Then the second one is climate change. When we talk about climate changes, talk about the drought, we're talking about the drought, and also the plants were threatened. When we talk about plant threatened, we are talking about this natural fire. For example, it reached a time whereby the bushes or the savanna grassland could the fire breakout could be witnessed in that land, and therefore that one was scaring away the wild animals, and therefore they could not get food. So when we talk about the climatic changes, increase in drought, and drought, we talk about the drought threatened the plant life and also animal, making what? Natural food scarce. Scarce means limited. The food was not enough, and that was due to drought and also natural fire. So that is all about climatic changes as the second reason. Then the next reason why man started domestication was competition for existing food in the natural, and we talk about natural environment, resulted in the what? Inadequate wild animal or wild food over hunting or animal. When you talk about competition, there was competition between man and animals. Therefore, man was also man needed food, and also animals also needed food, and therefore the environment could not provide enough food for them. So what came up in the mind of man is to come up with an idea of starting growing what? Crops, so that they can satisfy themselves as a whole. So that is all about the next, which is the third reason why man started domestication. Then the next is hunting and what? Gathering, which was increasingly what? Becoming tiresome. When you talk about tiresome, the animal, the hunting, the method of hunting was very difficult. It was very, very tiresome. The way, or as this topic suggests, it was very difficult in a sense that the methods was very, very, very hard. It's required man to be in a group, and maybe sometimes they can be very active in hunting, but they cannot get food because it requires a lot of energy. So it was tiresome, and therefore they switched on into agriculture, which was more promising than hunting and gathering. So that is the fourth reason why man started domesticating what? Animal and what? Then the next, calamities such as forest fires, which we talked about previously, like the environmental changes and conditions. The calamities such as forest fire or floods sometimes destroy the vegetation, and also drove away animals. So vegetation were basically used for, they were being obtained by man in gathering. Therefore, this forest fire could burn all of them, and food were always being destroyed by that, and even the wild animals in such places were being dropped away by the fire. So man remained without food. So they switched on into agriculture, whereby they can get food. Then the fifth reason why man started domestication was development of what? Settled life. These people, they were nomadic. Nomadic life means that they were moving from one place to another each and every time, looking for food and food and water. But then, after the idea of agriculture, they wanted to stay in a place permanently. And only agriculture could enable man to do this. So man had to stop life of movement in search of food and water. But only by agriculture, introducing agriculture, then they were supposed to have that permanent life, whereby they will not move in search of food and water. Then the next reason, which is the seventh reason why man started what? Domestication of animals and plants. That development of tools. When we talk about tools, we have what the Acheulean tools, which we talked about previously. We talked about the old one tools previously. Then the latest one, which was introduced in the Neolithic period, was known as microlithic. Micro means small. They were small, and even small and sharp. And their edges were just very, very sharp. So microlithic, sickless wooden plough. These basically were used in ploughing, and ploughing, that was a method of farming. So this tool really helped them in farming. Then having this idea, having these tools, then man make it, or the agriculture, the starting of agriculture became easy for the man. Then the next, which is the eighth one, which is the last reason, is that the availability of a variety of indigenous crops. They were indigenous crops. Indigenous means that there were some crops that were already growing there by themselves. They were naturally growing in the land, in the man's what? Land. And therefore, let me just give you an example of this. As you can see, we have got wheat and also barley. Wheat and barley. These were some of the indigenous crops that were already growing. Barley was basically witnessed in Syria and also even in Africa, in a place known as Egypt, in a place known as Fayum in Egypt. They were growing by themselves, and therefore man saw it was very easy to start agriculture. And this is just first part of this video. Let's tune to the next one. Thank you.